Amazon sellers or soon to be Amazon sellers, if you want to grow your business the right way, make more profit, and avoid mistakes, this Keepa training is for you. I'm going to go through a bunch of examples of the types of products you want to buy, types of products you want to avoid, red flags, green flags, and everything in between. Make sure you watch this entire video. It's incredibly important. Let's get right into it. All right, guys, the first Keepa chart example I want to show you guys is a bad variation proc. So it's incredibly important to note, and that's why I'm starting out this video with this example, that sales rank does not change between variation, but Keepa chart does. So not all variations are created equal. It makes a lot of sense that a black large would sell a lot better than a red double extra large, for example, on a women's hoodie, but I want to show you guys how you actually identify that. So right as we get into it, remember, sales rank does not change between variation, but Keepa chart does. So if we scroll down here to this example of this product right here, we can see this has a 25K sales rank, which looks like it would sell well. But if we take a look down here at the Keepa chart, we can see the offer count movement. The bottom Keepa chart is super blocky and doesn't really sell super well. And we can see Amazon's pretty much dominating the whole entire buy box. But then we can take a look at this product, which is on the same listing, which has the same sales rank right here, same review count. If we scroll down to the Keepa chart on this product, we can see even though Amazon's actually on it, which later in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to identify a good listing Amazon's on versus a bad listing Amazon's on. Two side-by-side examples here. We can see this listing, there's good flow of movement on the offer count, the bottom chart, and we can also see that Amazon isn't getting buy box here. We can see Amazon's up at 35, 36. Meanwhile, the buy box is consistently going at 28. So we can see this listing, even though it's technically on the same parent listing, is a good listing because it has good offer count movement. Amazon isn't getting the entire buy box here, but we can see this specific item, it's a really blocky offer count chart, so this one isn't good. And then would we actually go ahead and identify the best variations on a specific product is going here to the variations tab on Keepa, and then you really want to make sure that you organize your variations tab correctly here. So you take a second, organize your columns similar to mine. Sometimes you got to scroll over here and drag them over to start here, but we really want to be able to filter top to bottom by buy box price right here, and then see the good offer count charts right here. So the new offer count history, a lot of you guys, when you organize your columns similar to this, you accidentally put the new price history, which we can see is, right there. So you guys accidentally have the new history right here, but instead you want the new offer count history right here. So you want to make sure it says buy box current, reviews, ratings, new current, and then new offer count history so we can see the offer count movement. What I like to do to gauge the best variations on a specific product here is filter top to bottom by buy box price and then look for the good offer count movement, and then we'll open up the specific listing, clicking into it to see what does have the best offer count movement. So like, for example, this looks promising here. This looks blocky. I don't like that. This looks blocky. I don't like that. All of these guys here, we can see that looks good. This looks decent. This looks good here. And we want to see that offer count movement so we can see people hopping in and out of stock on a specific product here. And you want to make sure you always avoid listings that have blocky offer count movement, even if the sales rank's good, because the sales rank does not change between variations, but the Keepa chart does. So the Keepa variations tab is so important to have that correct right here, as well as your actual settings on Keepa too. So I'd recommend guys having sales rank selected, buy box selected, Amazon selected, new, and then new third-party FBA. None of this other stuff right here. When you initially get the Keepa Chrome extension as well, you guys want to make sure you're doing this on Google Chrome. It's going to show 3 different charts right here. Personally, I'd recommend clicking sub ranks to get out of that middle one. And then you might accidentally be missing the bottom chart, the new offer count chart, and you could just go ahead here and hit graph settings and make sure that's selected to go ahead and have that in there. You want these top 2 ones. The top chart shows the demand and the price action over time with the sales rank and buy box price. And the bottom chart shows the new offer count movement over time. We want to make sure there's good activity in it that's not super blocky like it is right here. The next example is super important. It's another type of product you want to avoid, which is products where the price is tanking. So we take a look at this specific item. We can see right off the bat, it's 120K rank, which is not bad. It just shows red because it's the toy category, right? So never worry about like the percentage BSR that Selling Ripple shows. Just worry about the overall BSR. Taking a look at this product right here, we can see the price was pretty consistently like 30 back in April and 45 in April and early May. And now we can see it's all the way down at 15 right here. So you want to avoid these listings where the price has absolutely tanked on a specific product here. While Keepa does show the data ever since the product was added on Amazon, we can see in this case all the way back in like 2021, you pretty much always want to focus on the 3-month data besides scrolling out and taking a quick glance for IP complaints, which I'm going to show you guys how to tell in a couple minutes here, but always focus on the 3-month data here. And you want to make sure you avoid listings where the price is trending down because there's a good chance that trend's going to continue. The only time you would take something potentially where the price is trending down is if the ROI was super, super high. For example, basic proc research criteria for beginners is 0 to 200K, rank, $3 plus profit per unit, a 30% plus return on investment. So we want to make sure the price is either stable or going up and the competition is either stable or going down, which we can see in this case, the price is trending down. So you would totally want to avoid this thing right here. The next example I want to show you guys is an example of the competition shooting up on a specific item. And this is the type of stuff we would totally want to avoid right here. So taking a look at this product right here, we can see the competition was like 10 to 11 to like 15, literally since like April all the way through late May. But then we can see suddenly the competition went from 12 all the way up to like 27 here. So you would totally want to avoid this because that competition shooting up on a specific item right here. So this is something we would totally want to avoid. So you want to make sure you stay away from examples where the price is tanking down and the competition shooting up right here. And even one of them is typically going to lead to the other here, with the competition shooting up typically leading to the price shooting down. So avoid listings you can see like this where the competition shooting up, which is probably going to lead the price shooting down, or it already did lead to the price shooting down. So avoid listings like this. The next type of listing is a type of product you want to avoid, which is IP complaint products right here. So IP complaint stands for intellectual property complaint, where the brand owner kicks the sellers off a listing. So if we take a look at this specific Keepa chart right here, looking at this product, this looks like they're good examples. I'm going to show you guys later in this video of good products here. But if we take a look at the all-time data on a specific product right here, we can see that in what looks like May and April of 2024 here, the competition was like 25 to 26, and then it just shot down to 0. So that's an example. Most likely, we have no way to confirm it unless you're actually selling it, of an example of an IP complaint product. So you would totally want to avoid listings that look like this. And that's why I said you always want to take a look primarily at the 3-month data, but you do want to scroll out to the all-time as well to see any examples of an IP complaint. This is an interesting example because people immediately hopped back on it. So what it could be is that they took away the IP complaint. But personally, just wanting to avoid risk, you guys, we do want to go ahead and avoid listings that look like this. All right, a super, super common beginner question I get all the time is, do I avoid listings Amazon's on? And for the most part, you do avoid listings Amazon's on when you're a beginner, because you want to avoid listings like this that are super, super blocky, where Amazon has the entire buy box. But you do want to take listings like this where we can see that even though Amazon's on it, there's good offer count movement. So offer count movement reigns supreme right here. We can see that even though Amazon's on it, they're not getting the entire buy box here. We can see there's other seller names showing in the buy box on Keepa, and the offer count movement's good. So we can clearly see that this is an obvious example of something you want to avoid that Amazon's selling, because there's no third-party sellers making money. We don't see any offer count movement on this specific item here. But this product, which we can see Amazon's actually since gone out of stock on, this Keepa chart looks amazing with the competition going down and the price shooting up here. We can see that even when Amazon was in stock, we can go ahead and zoom in on here that Amazon was not getting the entire buy box. I also just realized this is a really good example too of a no sales rank listing. Do not automatically avoid no sales rank listings, guys. Sometimes listings will just glitch on Amazon and not show a sales rank. They can still totally be good though. And this is a great example of one of those items here where we can see there's still good offer count movement on this specific product here. Looks like there's just been a lot of low competition, and that's led to the sales rank ultimately going up and then potentially disappearing here. But we can still totally see offer count movement reigns supreme here, guys. And even though there's no sales rank, people still totally buy this. And the price has gone substantially up too. Is going for like 35, 36, like 40 here. And now it's all the way up in some cases at like, 46 and even like 65 and above $50 consistently there for several months here. So don't automatically avoid listings with no sales rank. Look at the offer count movement here. Most listings with no sales rank aren't good, but some can totally be good. This is an example. And don't automatically avoid listings that Amazon's on. There's tons of examples of items where Amazon is in stock, but Amazon's not getting the buy box, or Amazon's sharing a good amount of the buy box here. And the way you can validate that is by zooming in and taking a look at the offer count movement here, as well as hitting data and then buy box statistics, and then filtering to the period you want to see where Amazon's in stock here, right? Which we can see 365 on this specific item here. And we can see Amazon's only gotten 18% of it total. And then looking further in on that, we can see that Amazon's given up the buy box here and that they're sharing it. There's good offer count movement. So this is totally a type of item you would be comfortable grabbing here. This is a good example. Quick interruption from the video, guys. If you want personalized one-on-one help directly from me, my personal phone number, one-on-one sourcing call directly with me, you want to be around other Amazon sellers crushing the game, I can help you start or grow your Amazon online arbitrage business the right way in my private coaching program. So if you're interested in working directly with me one-on-one, take a look down below at the link in the description for my private coaching program application. We'll pop a whole bunch of our insane student results right up here on screen right now. So I hope you guys are loving this video, and if you're interested in working directly with me, now's a great time to do that with Prime Day and back to school, eventually Q4, right around the corner. All right, guys, so all the time you're going to see examples of high sales rank listings, which you typically want to avoid, but it's not one size fits all. There are certain examples of items that have really high sales rank that can still totally be good. But how can that be the case? And the reasoning on that, guys, is because not all sales ranks are created equal. Grocery and video games are really small categories. So for example, a 200K rank in either of those could be incredibly slow. You're going to validate that from the offer count movement, but categories like home and kitchen and shoes and clothing are really, really big. So we take a look at this specific item, these and one shorts, we can see it's a 300K sales rank here. But if we take a look down here at the Keepa chart, there's not bad offer count movement whatsoever. And remember that shoes and clothing is a really, really big category. And to make matters worse for this specific item's chances of having good sales rank, we can see there's no other colors and sizes on here. There's no variation tab on Keepa showing. Therefore, this listing is competing in the shoes and clothing category with a bunch of other listings that do have variations that gives them a higher chance of having good sales rank and having more sales because there's more potential buyers for those specific products due to the sizing availability here. So we can see this item is still totally good. It's just an item a lot of beginners are going to miss due to it having a higher sales rank and beginners not understanding that not all sales ranks are created equal. We can see in this case, these are totally good, right? And that's based off the fact that it's just in a big category here and doesn't have variations, competing for the good sales rank with a lot of listings that do have variations right here. So don't automatically avoid listings that have a high sales rank. Take a look at the offer count movement. But taking a look at this example, we can see toys a little bit smaller of a category relative here. And we can see, taking a look at this Keepa chart, this one obviously isn't good right here, even though it does have 50 plus reviews. So theoretically, it could make sense to look into. As a beginner, you primarily want to be doing storefront stalking. So the reasoning you would even open a listing like this in the first place that has a higher sales rank is just seeing it in someone's storefront showing up relatively soon, having good reviews, and just a good amount of sellers. Like very, very few bad listings will have like 15 or 20 sellers, at least in terms of the offer count movement situation right there. So it's really important that you guys watch this entire video and let me know any questions in the comments too, because I love showing you guys these examples because I know it's going to make things so much easier for you guys right here. So this is an example of a high sales rank listing that could totally be good if you found it profitable here. And this is an example of a high sales rank listing that is terrible, blocky, not much activity that you definitely want to avoid. All right, guys, so do not automatically avoid listings with no buy box. A lot of people have this wrong opinion that when there's no buy box, when it shows see all buying options on Amazon, that people just don't buy it automatically. That's not true whatsoever. What they just do is they go here and hit see all buying options, and then they just buy one of these. So naturally, when there is no buy box, listings do sell a little bit slower here. But we can see on this specific item here, taking a look over the long term, even during the times where there's been no buy box here, which we can see there's no pink line right there, which is in, like mid-February to late February, early March right there. We can see the offer count movement still totally moved here. And that's the key, is what we're looking for. And then we can see recently here, they took away the buy box as well. We can see there's still some offer count movement on this. So we know people actually buy this item. We can see this is obviously like a little bit kind of heavier duty sleepwear. We're getting into the warmer months of the year. So it makes sense. These sales ranks going up and the demand's going down. We can still see, especially back in February on this specific item, this was totally good. And it's really important, guys, that you remove your emotions from this entire process and that don't worry about like what you think is going to sell well. Worry about what the data shows on a specific item here. So we can see, even though there's no buy box, or say there was Amazon in stock, or say it was a high sales rank, if the data looks good, the data looks good right here. With my coaching students, I literally have them check, pretty much some students will literally check every specific item with me, just sending over pictures of the seller and Keepa, so I can educate them on how this stuff works and help them buy more of good products and avoid the bad listings that they do find right there. And this is an example of something that could totally be good, even though there's no buy box. And that's a concept that sometimes is harder to grasp for newer folks right here, which you have to understand. They're just going here, they're hitting see all buying options, and then they're grabbing them right there. All right, guys, this next example also doesn't have a buy box, but the big thing we want to know with this specific item, now that we know that you don't automatically avoid stuff that doesn't have a buy box, is that you also don't automatically avoid items that have the private label alert on SellerAmp. So if we take a look, we can see it says this product has a few historical sellers, which is a sign it could be private label, not that it is private label. What you want to do when you see the private label alert, the suspected private label alert on SellerAmp, is go here and hit see all buying options, or just look at the list of the sellers if it does have a buy box, and then verify that it's not the brand right here. So we can see these are all third-party sellers. And if we take a look down here at the Keepa chart, we can see this actually totally makes money here. There's good offer count movement. Amazon's been in stock at some point, but we can see that it's not super blocky. It's not dominated by one seller, which would be a listing that actually is private label. So we can see this is totally an example of something that can be good here. And in this case, is good, even though it has a private label alert. So as a beginner seller, don't automatically avoid the listings that do have the PL alert. So I get asked all the time, how much competition is too much competition on a specific product? And truth be told, it's all about the trend. There's great listings that have 70 sellers and terrible listings that have 2 sellers. And all that matters is the trend on the specific product and the velocity. So taking a look here on this Keepa chart, we can see there's currently 85 sellers. But back in May, there were like 100 to 107, 108, 110 sellers, and the price was like 20, and now the price is touching like 23 in the buy box here. So this is a great example of something that, even though it's high competition, there's incredibly good volume. There's an 11K sales rank and 800 plus estimated sales per month. And I'm sure you're thinking, okay, but we took a look at that listing at the start where there were variations on that specific product, and even though there was a good sales rank, good estimated sales, it's not good. You have to remember, guys, this listing doesn't have any variations, which makes the estimated sales 100% accurate here and the sales rank 100% accurate. So when there's no variations on a specific product, that BSR and the estimated sales is 100% accurate to that specific variation. And then we want to further back that up by taking a look at the Keepa data as well, which we can see in this case is totally good. Competition's trending down, price is trending up, life is good. And then in terms of the ideal product you do want to be grabbing, guys, as long as it's nice and profitable, here's a good example of that, which we can see the competition is beautifully trending down, price is beautifully trending up. We can see the max cost on here on SellerAmp, say we paid like $13 for this, we would make $5 profit, 41% ROI. Obviously, SellerAmp tells you if it's profitable today, but then Keepa is going to show you if it's actually profitable over time. We can see in this case, competition is beautifully trending down, price is beautifully trending up. Exact type of stuff we want to take a look at there on a basic boxer product that's probably good all the time. But then another example, guys, is going to be the gold mine of products where they're doing really well seasonally when you can grab when they're coming into season. We can see this is a calculator here, and we can see it's like a 50 to 100K rank. It looks like all spring when people aren't buying calculators as much. But now getting into June, really the early side of back to school, a lot of people probably buying calculators for summer school. The sales rank's starting to go down, and we can see last year the sales rank totally plummeted getting into July and August for back to school season. And no wonder the price went from like 35 in the buy box all the way up to a peak of like 45 here. So seasonal items are a great opportunity, and don't really worry if listings like good seasonally today or will be good soon. But in general, you typically do think, okay, like buying soccer products and buying back to school products right now is going to do better because demand's going to get better. But just focus on what the data shows, and luckily, Keepa shows us all that historical data over time. So we can go ahead and buy products today that are profitable today. You never speculate, but taking a little bit extra effort putting into sourcing items that are going to continue to get better over time just based on those demand increases right here. So you have to understand that hoodies sell great in summer and slides sell great in winter. Amazon's a gigantic market, but there's gold mine opportunities seasonally for back to school products during back to school, Halloween stuff in September and early October, Thanksgiving stuff in late September and throughout October, getting ready for Thanksgiving, so on and so forth around these different holidays here. There's tons of good opportunities with that. Hope this video was helpful, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you love this content, and take a look at the link in the description for my private coaching program application if you want personalized one-on-one help directly from me to start or grow your online arbitrage business the right way.